Hey there, everybody. Welcome to State of the Federation, coming to you, well, recorded from Columbus, Ohio. It is the day after the second qualifier for the Star Trek Attack Wing World Championships. I am Dr. Kobe of State of the Federation, and I have here with me, in order, Will Sanchez, also State of the Federation, and winner of the regionals in Chicago. North Carolina and Chicago. I almost said Rochester. I've been doing that all day. Next to him, we have Peter Smith, Canadian National Champion, and next to him, we have Joseph Vanderyacht, second place in Canada. Is that correct?
No, but
oh, I thought you guys
we did the same build. I guess was how we got linked to Canada.
I gotcha. Okay, and then you've done. Let's see. I think you won the qualifier. Yes.
Yeah, I won day one.
You won day one, and then you did get second or third today. Third today. Yeah. So we have some pretty powerful players here. This lineup is totally not structured around the fact that Joseph and Peter are sharing a hotel room with Will. So
it was all luck, I swear.
So we're coming to you, obviously, if you've been following my coverage, you know a little bit about what's happening in the qualifiers, but we wanted to give you a more comprehensive look at some of the strategies and some of the experiences involved. So first of all, how have you guys felt about the qualifiers so far? What's been your experience at Gen Con?
I don't know, we're not at Gen Con.
Gen Con.
Oh my god, I've been doing... Can we get take two? No, I'm kidding. So I've been calling this, like doing the Twitter, I've actually had to delete about 3 tweets at this point because I accidentally keep calling it Gen Con. Origins, how's been your Origins?
That's a good question. I will defer to Joseph.
The positives are definitely that the level of play is really high, so it's challenging and fun each game. Everyone's really, they're winners, I guess, so they're gracious at all times or almost all the time. So those are the positives. Not huge negatives, I guess, right? Like other than what you'd expect, right? Like there's been a couple of rules.
There's some interesting rules, yeah.
There's been some rules problems, but
Well, I mean, in a game like this, that's not really unexpected, though.
But Origins as a whole so far, like starting from day one, it was a little, these guys weren't here for it, but the line for registration and stuff on day one was a little hectic. They seemed to clean that up a lot better for day two, so that was cool. We got playing in a reasonable amount of time, and generally everything was interesting, at least. Like of all the builds I saw, like they all had something cool or unique about them, and things that little creative touches that I liked about them, especially these guys. Not to toot their horns, but
Well, there was only one faction pure build. There was the mirror build today.
there was a Federation pure build today.
There was?
There was. It was amazing. There was a sovereign involved. So generally speaking, we've been seeing some pretty good, I mean, logistical issues aside, obviously that's going to be something to consider at an event this size pretty much regardless. There's been some good high-level play. I mean, from the coverage seat, it looks like you've got some really intense maneuvering games. I'm sure we'll get into that when we talk about day two of the qualifiers. And really just high-level competitive play, but in a really friendly, sportsman-like way. So that sounds pretty great.
No fisticuffs yet.
No fisticuffs yet.
tomorrow's the day for them, though.
Tomorrow is the day.
Tomorrow's the day for them.
But before we get to tomorrow, let's go ahead and talk about what's been going on the past couple days. So, day one.
There's a big difference between day one and day two, I think, and
There's-
what people brought.
Yeah. So what would you see as that difference?
So day one was a lot of scimitars was the main thing, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I had a thing for this. Hold on. That's what it was. Sim City.
Yeah. SimCity, yeah, definitely. And not really like all different kinds of scimitars, right? Like loaded up.
I only ended up facing like one of them, but he was running 2 naked scimitars with 2 fighters.
Yeah, which is frightening and crazy.
I take it back. And I also faced the one scimitar that had 7 cloak mines.
And like
Yeah.
That one actually,
And like 4
that one
interface
is a good
generators.
build. I like
Yeah.
that one.
That was kind of
That's a
funny. I
good
like
build.
So like from bear scimitars to like seven.
And the
Cloak
seven,
mines,
the
right?
7 cloak mines. I think it was 6 actually, but either
I
way,
think it was 6, and he tried to fake you out by thinking he had another cloak mine.
3
It was actually-
interphases
Yeah.
and 6 mines.
That's
but
what it was. It was three.
That's gonna show up tomorrow.
3 interphases, 6 cloaked mines, 1 quark. We thought it was going to be a cloaked mine. It was an interface.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah.
That was a shuttle knot, right?
With lore, let's just make sure that that's right there. Yeah. Lore was the one who got the extra attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's also another thing, is that Quark has actually been, I don't know if it's different for these guys, but Quark is actually, and face down cards are actually being very secret for the tournament events. So there's it's actually, you don't write it down on your sheet, only the judge confirms it, and that's not something I've actually had to experience much in the past.
Yeah, it does seem like, I mean, at least from my observation, also that there's a lot of quark.
Yeah, Quark's
Yeah.
very good at smuggling cloak mines.
He's at least a points discount of a couple, right? So that's always useful, right? So it's hard to think of a build where he wouldn't maybe show up anywhere, right? Only if your crew slots were filled, I guess, right?
Yeah, are you running like bioships or something?
But
Yeah, bioships.
that
Who runs those things?
that Quark that they have the tech or the weapon secret for Quark, I like, because it's kind of like a push in our direction, right? Where it's like kind of competitive. It's not like, oh, everyone be nice, show what's under Quark, right? Like I kind of like that, you know. They're not, you know, doing it that way.
It adds a lot of, I can certainly say from the coverage standpoint, at least from my perspective, it adds a lot of tension to the game, where as a spectator, I don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen. Now, there's a certain lessening of tension because I think there was literally only one build I saw where it wasn't an interface generator or cloaked mines, but there was still that little bit of tension.
Yes, I was real worried. I didn't know what that thing was.
And you never will. Oh wait, no, yeah, I know that one. Ah, poor kid. Poor.
Oh goodness, but yeah. So what was I going to? So it still did have that tension of, oh, is this going to be something that's going to make maneuvering trickier, or is this going to be something that just cancels an attack effectively, which I think the interface does. Though I do want to say, speaking of that, there are 2 things I want to point out about what I saw yesterday and today. First of all, first question. Do you feel like I do that maneuvering has been really important in this tournament so far?
If you want to win.
I would have to say it depends on your point of view, because the people that have been abusing maneuvering the most are all sitting here.
Yes.
Yeah. First day there was some extra maneuvering, but the 2 main fleets that had extra maneuvering were
Me
Will's and
this
mine,
guy.
and then Peter's fleet had the most maneuvering today.
I'm not necessarily talking about extra maneuvering, though of course I consider that to be absolutely clutch, especially in the finals of Qualifier 2 today, but I mean just in terms of one of the major criticisms of competitive play has been, oh well, it's just a simple joust, and it just seems like in what we've seen in the qualifiers so far, we have extremely precise positioning of starting and maneuvers and.
Yeah, I would agree 100% in that there was some jousting, but you're like trying to draw people into a joust, and even when it is a joust, which I don't feel was the norm in my games anyway, there's so many different ranges of firing between fighters, Borg, and the different arcs that like you really have to have the tempo of your approach properly and the angle, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to think about compared to.
Well, I mean, winning the game is about getting your 2 ships to fire on on one ship and only having one of their ships firing back at you, right? That's how then you take it.
Right, and so in that case, it does become a dance around the planets. Hey, speaking of which, how do you feel like the planet placement has factored into your games thus far?
That's like the best add-on that I think I've seen for the game so far.
Oh yeah, like we actually went on last week about, you weren't here for it unfortunately, but me and David started talking about, you know, what does it mean that we get to choose if we want a planet or not, and it's like the guys who have the straightforward fighter and ship builds, they don't want a planet, they want to joust you, and anyone who has extra maneuvers or can do fancy getting around behind arcs, they're going to want a planet somewhere specific.
And cloak mines love planets.
Oh yes.
Oh goodness.
Every planet is another 10% of the board that you don't need a mine near.
And you can play Cloaked Mines on the planet, which I didn't know until yesterday.
But it definitely seems like, you can talk about the ubiquity of the Borg, the ubiquity of the Scimitar, even to a certain extent the interface generator. But I think just about the one thing every single build has, even more than fighters, would be cloaked mines. It just seems like they're everywhere.
I wonder who's responsible for that.
Do you think the prevalence of cloaked mines has had a major impact on the tournament this far?
You can't. That's the first thing you consider about any build, I think, is how it deals with cloaked mines. And the second thing you consider is how many cloaked mines can you put in your build, right? So, I mean, that's,
The best counter to fighters is what it boils down to,
and
right?
and then it comes. But there's also nothing they're bad against either,
Yeah.
right? Like even Voyager with the adaptive shields, you'll
One of
get
those.
It doesn't cut it.
you'll get hits on that every once in a while, right? Not most of the time, right? But if they're gonna just be going back and forth through that minefield, they're gonna get a couple hits. So not the greatest use of 3 points in that one example, but not even bad, right? Like still good.
It's not a dead card.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, 2 points is a shield, so if you do 2 damage, you've already paid for it.
Yeah,
Good way of looking at it.
yeah.
And even beyond that, cloaked mines, it's actually kind of ties in neatly with the planet placement, because planet placement, you're affecting the environment you're fighting on. Cloaked mines are very definitely a way you're affecting the environment you're fighting
Right.
on. So you change the way the board looks, where the combat's going to take place, and whether or not your opponent is going to charge through the mines, or you're going to lay them behind you for your opponent to cover your retreat.
And you can use them for the +1 defense, which is great.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that today.
When firing mag charges, especially.
Yeah.
So,
That's fine.
the other thing I noticed was that, so we, obviously instead of the Federation, we've talked a lot about how we all feel that the 50-point limit is not necessarily great for the game. But I will admit, in its favor, it does seem like, due especially to the complexity of play, a lot of matches are going to time, and a lot of them are being decided on points in a way that in the Dreadnought era we really didn't see, because you either got 0 points or 120, whereas here you're getting 40, 90, 0 if you don't kill any of your opponent's ships, and then you end up rolling off Peter.
That's not the
one
only
for
one.
one so far.
But do you feel that there has been a criticism in Attack Wing that it seems like the points haven't mattered, but does it seem like that's the case to you here? Or does it seem like the fleet points are important?
Actually, there has been. You've been doing most of the coverage. I think there's been at least 4 roll-offs in the last 8 rounds of 16 players.
I know that there were 2
So
today.
I've had 2 of them. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my
Of the
God.
4,
You are
I've had 2.
You are responsible for 50% of the roll-offs.
Well, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
I
well,
know-
I take my time.
I know that on one of them it was because there were 2 50-point ships left. And that,
That's interesting.
yeah, that was Daniel Detola versus Charles Scrobus. They both had a 50-point scimitar left. And but other than, and then of course Peter with his amazing performance of 0 fleet points versus 0 fleet points. I don't know, what was the scoring on your other roll-off? Was that a 0-0 or?
Yeah, it was the same deal.
That was the maneuverability fleet.
No, that was the first day. But it was. If I had one more turn, it was going to be very much so in my favor.
Right.
But there's also been a lot of very close ones, like our match on day 1 came down to just getting rid of my fighter's last token on the last round
That's right,
that we were
yeah.
fighting, and that was the only thing that died.
And I would have had a ship die the next turn.
Because
And
I had Picard down to like 2 health.
yeah, 2 turns later, like if I won because it ended that turn. If it had have ended the next turn, you would have won. 3 turns, I don't know what would have happened. There would have been blood in the water.
So it does seem like the time limit and the fact that fleet points have to be spread out through a fleet more are having a serious impact just on the results thus far.
If there was 10 more minutes each round, I think that pretty much all that stuff would get cleared out.
There's an impact, but we're still seeing like, I don't think we're seeing significantly fewer roll-offs happening. Like, there's still roll-offs happening. Roll-offs happened before. And I don't think it's something that's going to go away just because of the point limits.
Well, I will say this. I don't know how obvious this is from the play angle, from the coverage angle. It's making the rankings a lot more dynamic. In other words, not everybody who's 2-0 has 240 points at this point.
Right.
In other words, the winner's always going to have, the winner's always going to be 4-0, but whose second place is now not necessarily the person who's at table 1, as Will found out twice.
Yeah, a big kill, like a 50-point ship in the second round is like gonna make or break you later on down the line, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think that might affect the meta in interesting ways. But before we talk about that, let's go straight into day 1. Talk about the results of that a little bit, just to make sure that we got everything on the table. So, how do you like scimitars and fighters, guys?
Well, I ran them.
Yeah, so did everyone.
I was gonna say records. I went 3-1. Day
1
1.
and 3, maybe.
4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was.
My loss was to that guy.
And both days, by the way, Will got 4th place both days on fleet points. Both days, the final table was Will Sanchez versus somebody. Versus one of these two guys, actually, and then of course on fleet points, he ends up getting 4th place instead of 2nd. So that's STAW for you, ladies and gentlemen. But maybe it's good for Will that we're moving to single elimination tomorrow. I don't know.
Is there time on that though? I was thinking about that. I think there is time. for the
Yeah,
elimination.
we don't do
yeah.
X-Wing. They have time for all the matches, even up to the final.
time for all the.
Okay,
But
that's interesting.
I'm assuming they may let the finals run depending on how late we go, but.
When they say we're gonna cut the top 8 after 2 rounds because we don't want you guys to be here all night,
That's fair.
I don't think they're gonna give us unlimited time.
Yeah, cutting to top 8 after 2 rounds, not everybody's favorite.
I'll say this much about scimitars though. I don't think they're very good.
No, they're great. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scimitar is the single greatest ship.
And load those
Everything.
interfaces on them too.
Look, if you wanna do that, just tell them all the Gornaris is great. Okay, come on.
No.
Go big or go home.
The
Guys.
Scimitar isn't horrible.
Guys, secret tech here, Interceptor 6.
Oh man. Well, cat's out of the bag.
Actually, no, wait a minute. If we're talking about day 1 here, and we're talking about Interceptor 6, what about that weird bird of prey maneuverability build? What was that?
I did not see
that got
one.
me excited. That was fun.
So,
That
okay,
was my favorite game.
So you played that. How did that?
How did that go? 30 minutes in, we were on turn 2. That was pretty sweet.
But explain what the build is because I didn't even.
Right.
I didn't even know what it
Maneuverability
was.
is a card. It's a tech card that costs 5 on Bajoran ships, 11 on anything else, and it allows you to go over a planet and still shoot, which is pretty awesome. It took a long time for us to figure out if you could shoot, what happens when you get on the planet, and ultimately it says the card more or less sounds or reads, which is like you fly into the planet, you get to shoot out, someone can shoot into the planet at you, they get +1 defense, and you can only afford it on kind of cruddy ships, unfortunately.
So, out of curiosity, actually, were you the game where the crit ruling came up?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, talk about this because this is the one ruling. Every so often, I've talked about the ruling with the judges because I'm doing coverage and the judges are standing there, and frankly, these guys take forever to set their dials, so I need something to talk about with them. The one ruling where the judges and I have not been able to come to any sort of reasonable decision at all, and it was just ruled on the spot because we had no idea what to do, was in this game he's talking about. So tell them about this ruling because it's great.
Yeah, so half an hour in, we're turn 2, and then at 45 minutes in, we've established that you can, in fact, fly through the planet and shoot. And I find I get to attack, which is great, the first attack of the game, and I do a crit.
Oh god,
and
this is the first attack of the game.
Yeah, it was the first attack. It was the only attack of the game. There was only one attack of the whole game.
Oh, this was the
It's
other
zero.
No. I won this one because of this the ruling of it. I did my fleet. They moved in. They did the scimitar did 1 attack as a 360 fire, and that was the only attack. And I got the crit, and it said when you move over an obstacle, you suffer a damage. And that was, we just burst into laughter because it's a planet obstacle, and the card says you ignore all the penalties of the planet. So what the heck goes on?
Yeah, so for those who are not clear, What's the name of the?
Maneuverability is the card.
No, the crit. Was it Jostled Navigator?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jostled Navigator says when you hit an obstacle, you take a damage. I mean, okay, for most of us that's clear. Except if you have maneuverability and you're on a planet, because the planet is technically an obstacle, except it doesn't follow obstacle rules, and you're using maneuverability, so you normally ignore them, but maybe not because of the critical. And so the ruling came down that what? You took the damage?
The ruling was you took the damage, and since the ship had 2 hull and I'd done a crit on it, it was literally death, and it was already on the planet, so there was no chance of anything happening. It was just gonna die, and that was my only points for the game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What's Robert's last name?
Fletcher. Robert Fletcher?
Yeah.
Robert
Yeah.
Fletcher. So that's his build.
Oh, that was his build.
That was
yeah,
his build.
Very,
Oh, wow.
very creative build.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome. It got me super excited. I wanted to create the exact same thing, have Tuvok,
And then actually play the
Tuvok.
whole hour.
No, not to do that. You go on the planet, you have the highest captaincy, you shoot, then you activate Tuvok, which allows you to then move off the planet, behind the planet, and then they can't fire you.
That's really clever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't work though, but it's clever.
Why does it
Yeah.
not work?
It doesn't work because it doesn't work in 50 points.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing I'm going to just throw out there, and this is forecasting one of the suggestions that I might make. So I was thinking about this. If you do a shuttle mod with Voyager, you have the points to put maneuverability on Voyager if it starts there. You could do it
But-
that way.
You could do it. Well, what? I don't know what captaincy would be enough to.
What, con?
Yeah, it'd have to be
Con
Con.
on a Federation ship, guaranteed.
Gen Con
you're
making
going
a
first.
resurgence.
Yeah, he's been big.
Con's
Or-
awesome.
I mean, you'd actually have enough points for JLP9.
Yeah, but Con is the top captain.
And the other
I like the free action.
Okay.
part of the build too, right, is that behind the planet, which is in the corner, is choked with cloak mines.
Yeah, at least.
So the other
Uh,
player can't go back there.
Obviously.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Come on,
wanted
cloak
it-
mines are an assumed thing.
I
here.
wanted an interface on my build though. That was the thing.
Uh-huh.
I really felt like I needed that for security.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. Okay.
Well, do we want to talk about why the scimitar's bad? Because I
Yeah.
do think it is.
Well,
Yeah,
here's
Scimitar's awful.
Or we're going to talk about that later after we go finish day one.
Well, no, I mean that
Well,
that
day
basically
one was the
is day
scimitar.
one was the scimitar.
No.
Day one was the scimitar and Hideki's. It was interesting to me. I saw a lot more Fed Fighters Day 2. I'll talk about how I think that affected things just watching my games. But scimitar at one point in the top 8, five of them or 7 of them or something were running scimitars. And I think what I learned, I said yesterday when I was doing the coverage that, oh, hey, I think the scimitar is better than I think. And I think what I am actually like, no, the scimitar is still bad. It's just really good against the scimitar. So,
Scimitar excels at killing unmaneuverable cheap ships.
mhm.
But other than that, it's just a giant useless ship.
And I mean, keep in mind, I love the scimitar. My scimitar dial is so white, and when Tucker asked me why, I said just from holding it in my hands.
Yeah, that's
he had to
kinda
walk
gross.
away. Disgusting.
Yeah.
That's how much I love
That
the
sounds
scimitar.
really bad.
And
This-
play
it
the
just
and play the
sounded
scimitar.
worse now.
So,
Whatever. man.
just to clarify, he's saying that it's white because he sweats and he moves it a lot, not for any other reason.
That
might have
sounds
to do
just
with
as
him
bad,
being
actually.
white.
Let the people believe what they want to believe. I don't
I
care.
think we should continue.
I have a
Let's
strange-
maybe yes, I like that plan, please.
So,
But so even when it's rolling all its defense dice, and it has interphases, you almost have to use the interphases for every single attack because a crit sneaks through, right? And so much is involved in the scimitar, right? That like one bad crit, and it's not as though there's only 1 or 2 crits that can hurt you,
There's
right?
only one crit that doesn't hurt you, and that's
Yeah.
the weapon one.
Yeah, turns would
That's
be
it. The
devastating.
stress one is the one I got, or auxiliary token
Yeah,
one.
and even an extra
that was the
auxiliary
end of the
token
game
at
for
the
the
wrong
scimitar.
time. Yeah, that's devastating. So you burn through your interfaces so quick, right?
And they cost a damage, and you only have 7 life.
Yeah.
I mean, it to me it seems like it's a good counter against guess what, but magnetometric guided charges, God. But
Even if those didn't exist, it would not be a good counter against Borg. Because 6 dice doesn't cut it when you're rolling 6 attack dice.
You have to.
Like 6 defense.
Oh, I
versus
see what
6
you're saying.
offense.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, if there was no mag charge, I'd like it a lot more though.
I would enjoy you playing it then.
Yeah, but because you don't put you have Picard somewhere on there, so it's 6 dice
You
with
have
battle
Picard on
stations.
the tactical cube as well.
Nobody ran tactical cubes except for that one like 10-year-old kid who ran 2 tactical cubes and a set of fighters, and that was great.
And he's gonna run that
That's
tomorrow for sure.
I really hope he does, because that build was like, all right, I got wrecking balls, go.
Hey, it's not too bad.
It's not bad. It was great. It was a joy watching him play. Especially, I don't know if you saw, but there was one point when Adam Dutel put on a horse mask while he was playing the kid, and the kid just cracked up.
Hey, he's a good
I
player.
saw a picture of that that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
This is the psychological game we're playing now.
Well, I don't really want to know why Adam Dutel happened to have a horse mask on him. No, it's in all honesty, I was just happy the kid was there, because I like seeing families play this game together. His dad was also in the tournament. They were playing next to each other. It was great.
His father's the one who's running the scimitar
He-
with 6 cloak lines.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I played him day one, and then we had another rules thing, which was a problem. But it was like the difference, like the game sort of turned on.
What was the question?
It was about the semantics of interface generator. I was telling you about it later, right? But
Oh, was this whether or not you can evade it? 'Cause some
yeah,
of it-
he thought you rolled the evade dice. You had to declare the interface before you rolled the evade dice, right?
Oh,
Which is not the case, right?
not
so,
the case.
So he thought he could take all the damage off. 1 damage got on, which was
Yeah.
not an inconsequential point of damage. And I mean, it's frustrating, right? And not surprising that, like we've always been saying, right? There's all these different rule things, right, that come up. I don't know how the rules work completely. Peter doesn't, Will doesn't, you don't.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, I mean, this one was unclear enough that it had to be FAQ'd very early on.
And multiple, and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the 4 cards in Attack Wing that has received errata. It doesn't say hit result anymore. It just says damage.
Right.
Just to make it clear that it happens during step 7 after you roll the dice. If you're curious, the other ones are that one Vulcan captain that said he was Dominion, and then of course tactical stations and Gamer class phaser banks. Let's not talk about that last one.
There was the multi-targeting sensors from Defiant.
Was that technically classed as an errata, or was that just a clarification that you thought
Oh,
was...
if we want to talk technically classes in errata,
Yeah, we're forgetting about like dispersion field.
Oh, yeah, that's which
like
they
the ones that
completely
are just
rewrote,
crazy.
yeah. I don't know if I count that as errata.
Thaleron weapon.
Can't they just ban the ones that don't make sense?
You know, I really wish they would. That's sort of my... Well, let's go ahead and talk about day 2, because I have some commentary on that. So day 2, hilariously, we saw practically no scimitars and way fewer Hidekis, though we did see more Fed fighters.
Really?
Yeah, I saw
I didn't play anyone with feds.
3 or 4 people running Fed fighters.
I played 1.
Well, they didn't do that well, but they were there.
Yeah. So record for day 2, 3-1.
4-0.
2-2.
So, obviously, final table was again Peter and Will. So, again, in the sense that I said it already on the show, obviously, I don't want to take away from day 1 thing. So, So, obviously, day 1 you come in, you see scimitars and Hidekis everywhere. Also cloaked mines, but those stayed. And then day 2 you come in and see... I don't even know what is the reaction to that? Like, was that what you expected? Did you expect more of the same? Did you expect craziness?
I think on day 1, people learned that scimitars weren't going to get it done, right? Because I wasn't flying scimitars. Will didn't have a scimitar.
I was testing it and it didn't
yeah,
do well.
Yeah, and then the other ship that got a real workout and was found wanting on day 1 was Voyager 2.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's great. It's great. It rolls so many defense
Other than
dice.
being, yeah,
It's just great. It's just
an
sitting
automatic
there.
win.
So just sorry, because I don't think we mentioned day 1, Joseph won with 2 bioships and Hidekis.
Yeah, Hideki fighters.
Hidekis versus Will's build. He ran the Diamond Fighters RSV build we talked about last week. substituting a sphere for the diamond, and
Yep.
throwing on Brunt FCA, not FCA. So
Brunt.
basically, in other words, even though the entire field was scimitars, the finals ended up being Bioship versus Borg.
Mhm.
So, and then
But you got to be careful about this because it's not like traditional Bioships versus Borg. I was running the Borg build that had high maneuverability. He was running a Bioship build that had even more maneuverability. You know, maneuverability fleet captain, maneuverability admiral in forest. Cons, so you absolutely went last.
Yeah, that's the ships are important because I guess they tell you how many attack dice to roll, right? But it's how you're maneuvering them that was the tale of the day.
So then, I mean, we come in, and then so day 2, you're not surprised based on that, and you're not surprised to see no scimitars. The field is
They're
completely
horrible
reversed.
maneuvering, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, you would have played Will in the last round today if if things had gone differently with us, right? Because it was like when I beat you, then I played Will.
Oh yeah.
So it was
but
really gonna be.
I had a scimitar in my build today, but my scout did all the work. Like that scimitar was a weighted anchor around that scout's neck.
And when you say scout, you mean scout Q.
Yeah, sorry, the scout 608.
Yeah,
Borg
it's
scout.
just somebody ran a bow yesterday, so I
Right, yeah. There was one game that I won right down to the finish, and my scimitar died, and he still had all 3 ships left, and then the scout just went to work, right? Like it's
Well, guess I got to do all the work myself now.
yeah.
Ugh, stupid scimitar.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting. The Scout Cube. So State of the Federation a couple weeks ago, we did our top 5 ships and top 5 underdog ships, and probably one of the most contentious reactions was in our top 5 ships we didn't do Scout Cubes, and I put Scout Cubes in my underdogs. I don't remember if Will or Dave did. So it seems like there's been a lot of back and forth on the community about the power level of the Scout Cubes, especially post-nerf. And would you agree or disagree that today especially was the proving day of the Scout Cubes? This was the day where they really came into their own.
Yeah, I mean, our meta where we're from is after the 50-point limit came along, even before the nerfing, the scout was probably the most troublesome thing that we all had to keep in mind. When the new board rulings came in, Peter and I texted each other and said, "Okay,
That's it.
It's
Yeah.
the 608's day
The
now,
608
right?
is
Because
finally come.
it wants to run mag charges anyway, so its range isn't affected, right?
Yeah.
And it's making 2 moves a turn.
And the only weakness to the 608 is other Borg ships.
So yeah, now it's really risen to, I think, ascendancy. I think if you guys did that list again, it would be, certainly in the top 5.
Well, and I think that Borg ships generally would be still in the top list there.
And today's finals were, in fact, Borg versus Borg. It was 2 spheres and an RSV versus Scout Cube, Diamond, and Set a Fighter?
No, I made the
Yeah,
the
Shuttle Knot. Yeah, this was a Shuttle Knot.
Mr. Wayun.
And today we actually had 2 Shuttle Knots, I think. Yesterday we had 1. That was how you got 6 Cloak Knots onto a scimitar.
Not all at once. It took like 4 turns to fill them and then eject them and fill them and eject them.
Yeah, it was still pretty entertaining to watch, though. It was like you speaking as the coverage guy, you watch people's faces as they slowly realized how many cloaked mines they were going to have to put up with. It was pretty great.
But I don't really understand how that should work, because so long as you have 2 ships, you should be able to create a nice little pocket where there shouldn't be cloaked mines.
Unless he goes through you.
Yeah.
No, but he can't
6
deploy the
straight.
mines.
Yeah. This is why it didn't end up being a good idea. I don't think he deployed all the mines in most of his games.
Right.
So
With that many mines, you want to spread it. 6 mines should be all around the board, and it's very hard to actually get a time when you can legally place them all around the board.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have 3 ships and you can guarantee you have 2 of them going like this,
you're duck
and you
keeping
just
the water
keep,
from freezing over.
you just keep going in one area to guarantee you have a safe zone, because they'll never be able to play mines there if your ships are there.
You're speaking as someone whose ships move 2 or 3 times each, right?
Well,
then
and
it's a lot
someone who
easier.
plays with Borg ships that move backwards.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That helps
Borg should
too.
have a really easy
Yeah.
time doing it.
Yeah,
backwards
Borg-
is key.
Borg have never had a particularly tough time with cloak mines, and that hasn't changed just because those people who are playing Borg are playing with maneuverability tricks now, to the point where they don't. They're still cloak mines are still optional to hit. You see what I'm saying? And on that note, my hypothesis based on today has been that Borg has moved from what some saw as an I win button to an I win button if you're really good. Would you agree with that?
It's a bit harder, definitely.
It's comparatively speaking, like if you're going to compare like the post nerf Borg with like Voyager or the Scimitar, I don't think you necessarily have to be better with them to beat that, because you're still getting more shots than they are by virtue of, even though you have the shorter range, you'll still more than likely get more shots off out of arc.
Well, my counterexample there is, this is what I'm talking about, is it used to be that you could play the Borg, and even if you were just going to run in and joust, which is not the Borg's best plan, you're still going to do pretty well. Whereas yesterday we saw with the young kid who played 2 tactical cubes, he ran in there and he generally got smashed. Because he'd run straight in and his movement was predictable, whereas the top table today was Borg versus Borg, but that was almost like watching chess in terms of maneuverability and the complexity of it.
Yeah, very different.
Mm-hmm.
The one it certainly takes a lot more thought to play the Borg. I agree. So I don't know if you can characterize it as an I win button, other than the way the movement works. It's still hard to go too far wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you do a hard turn or a bank and you have a 50-50 guess and you go the wrong way with a more traditional ship, that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the Borg goes back or forward and moves this way, or angles to go this way instead of this way, they can still back up too, right? And give chase for a round, that's just as an example. So it's hard to go too far wrong, right?
It's the going backwards. You didn't get to
Going
see.
backwards is the main.
Yeah.
You didn't get to
thing
see
that
my
we-
trick because you killed Wei Yun immediately. but the whole thing with that octagon with Wei Yun and the scout pilot is that you go backwards one, the scout then lets you go forwards one, but then turn. So you actually haven't moved, but you've gained the scout token, and you then re-enable Wei Yun. So you everything is as if nothing had happened. So there were games where I'd literally just sit there with the scout and be like, I'm just going to turn it. That's my turn for the scout. Sorry, not the scout, the octagon.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice, and no other ship can do that without having elite talents.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
There's pivots in
Mhm.
attack wing now, I was going to say.
Only for, I think, the no, I guess you could do that on a sphere, couldn't you? There's no
You
reason
can do it
to.
on any Borg ship. It's just no, actually, if you did it on a sphere, you couldn't turn it because they're not green maneuvers. The octagon's the only ship
Right.
that lets you do the green maneuvers, which is why I like the octagon so much.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was looking at doing sort of the same sort of thing with Engage, but the Wei Yun Romulan Scout combo might work a little bit better.
You get the scan. Octagon works well with scans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the name, you were
Yeah,
on the name,
yeah.
the name especially.
So let's move into the finals match, because this was one. If you folks at home want to see what happened with the finals match, I actually tweeted the whole thing. You can see pictures every single round of where the maneuvers were. You can see sort of my play-by-play description of what happened. So the build here was Will running 2 spheres in a Romulan science vessel.
Smashy build.
The smashy build. The spheres were captained by Cardassians. We had, let's see, I'm going to get this right.
Okay.
I'm not going to get this right. We had
Pavel
Lemag.
Chekhov. That's how I referred to him.
Chekhov's ball.
That's Chekhov. I don't
Okay.
care who the captain is.
True story. I can't actually remember that captain's name, but we'll call it the Pavel Chekhov sphere. It's
yeah.
the one that gets you take an auxiliary power token and get +1 attack die.
Golmaset.
Maset. I knew it was an M.
Chekhov, yes.
From the assimilated Chekhov.
Right.
I mean,
So he's flying a sphere. He's got Chekhov to get rid of that auxiliary power token every turn. Magnetometric guided charges. That's it, correct?
yes.
And then on the next sphere you have Lemag, who says, if you have a lower captain skill than me, I roll +1 attack die, comboed with Madred, who ganks captains. Great combo there. another set of magnetometric guided charges, and then we have a Romulan science vessel with Denatra, cloaked mines, and Quark holding...
Romulan Disruptor Pulse.
What? What is this madness?
No one ever expects a shot from the science vessel.
I mean, not that you ever got to use it in the finals, but...
I used it once or twice.
Well, there was-
not in the
in the
finals.
There was a
No.
chance.
No,
I
not in
could've
the
flown
finals.
that shuttle out, and then bam, it would have been over like that.
Yeah, so he was not flying the shuttle out ever. No shuttle was ever on the board at the end of round 1. And then, Peter, you were running, let me see, you were running I'm not going to remember everything that was on that.
You want me to say what ended or how it started?
I mean,
'Cause it's very different.
Yeah. So Peter was running. You're running a shuttle nod, right? And you're what? You're landing the shuttle on the diamond, loading it up with Wayun and Romulan Scout and a bunch of other stuff. And
Romulan pilot.
Romulan pilot, Wayun is the captain, and then I chose between having Govol, which usually going back to the shuttle, or having Fourth of 5, and then Cloaked Mines from Quark, who would give them to the shuttle, and then I'd transfer them over. So it was like basically running a 65-ish point ship.
And then you also had the Scout Cube with Gen Con, Fleet Captained, which ended up mattering in the finals.
Mattered in every game.
Oh man, that thing
No.
was disgusting.
No. In other words, so let me be clear about
gotcha,
that.
the skill
So
level.
Will is not running a captain higher than 6. So Gen Con actually takes his base 6 skill and adds 1 in this game,
Yep.
and that ends up being a critical difference
Yes,
throughout.
that was very critical.
that
It's amazingly funny to me. So and then on that was on Scout 608. You had the guided charges, and what looked like sort of a smorgasbord of upgrades that you could just sort of pitch and not feel bad about.
Tactical
there's
station, that was an important
Tactical state. The important ones was dispersion field, tactical station, magnetic guided charges, and
Improved
rebellion.
Improved
And
deflector screens.
yes,
And then an important part of the build, no upgrade's important in itself, but getting stuff on there for free. So when you play Sakona, you're getting 2 points because you have to play the mag charge. Then she's giving you a weapon slot so you can play the Mirror
Aft
Universe,
phase,
for free, right? Stuff like that, right? If you have the
No, I didn't
you
play the
have
full
Fleet
version. I
Captain.
just played like a modified version of it.
So, for those at home, I mean, this tactical cube, the Scout Cube had about 10 billion things on it. I'll be posting the build sheet of that later at some point. It's seriously, you had like 10 cards next to that ship. But
It got its own table.
it did get its own table. There were little sort of portions next to the boards you can see in the photos, and it basically got its own table. So, but the main key difference was you had a Scout Cube 608 with the maneuverability Fleet Captain. How much did that matter in your games?
Well, that was it. That was the difference, right?
Yeah.
I got the science vessel picked off by doing the equivalent of what? 5
A 5
2
reverse.
plus 2 plus 2, and then add on the actual thing, so that's like 6,
Mhm.
right? Backwards, and then firing at range 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not paying strong enough attention in the last match. I'm like, oh, 608 has an ability to move also. Because I was still stuck on from my first build, like the best way to do double reverse was my friendly Captain Picard from the Stargazer.
Who's very good.
I
But
love him.
imagine that on the 608, that would be a death trap.
Yeah.
2 hull, yeah.
Make it count.
Eat those MGCs.
So the 608, this tournament, the worst it got to was 1 shield left. That was it. That was the worst. And if it did ever lose its shields, then it would lose the deflectors and it would die immediately.
Yeah, out of curiosity, how much did the deflectors make a difference?
Every single shot.
Well,
They remove a crit. It's not like they remove a hit. They remove a crit every time. I mean, you choose, but of course, you choose a crit.
And they never got through the shields though, so it didn't really.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like,
Like
Just
during an
one-
average game, how many
yeah.
Well, you-
specific results did it cancel? Like
Well-
3 to 5 to 7.
Rebellion prevents people from wanting to waste a whole turn shooting at it.
Mhm.
So that probably was the biggest part, but when people would shoot at it, when I used Rebellion, that was just an instant nothing happens, right? -2 plus -1 and away from the
-1 result. Yeah, if you're not rolling like 5 or 6 dice.
and then you're rolling 3 defense dice, and
Yeah.
typically 4 because of course I'm shooting mags at range 3.
Right.
So yeah, though time where it got down to 1 shield, it was 3 different turns of firing and doing 1 damage a pop.
So on the note of mags, one of the huge components of the Borg nerf, in fact, in my opinion, the much more hardcore, like influential one, is the reduction from range 3 to range 2 of the 360. But by using the mags, you get it back. I mean, did that seem to nullify the trade-off for you at all, or?
Well, it's pretty nice that it converts a battle station to a crit.
The worst thing for the 608 before the nerf was the big Borg ships.
Yeah, firing 6 dice.
That's what it feared the most, right?
Mhm.
Right. Now, not as
Now
much.
it fears
right?
mags
And
and
we
everything else in the game.
We
Yeah.
actually saw that in the final match. There was a point where Will had a sphere, what looked like in range of the Scout Cube and the Diamond, and the Scout and the Sphere exchanged mag shots, but the Diamond was just that hair out of range 2, where it couldn't also fire on the Sphere, which if it could have, may well have been the game right there. I mean, obviously you ended up winning anyway, but it would have been a lot faster.
Things would have been very different.
Yeah.
But,
Speaking of
I did
things
shoot
that,
at your scout too, didn't I?
yeah.
yeah, you
And
did.
you had only 2 hull left on your Queen Vessel at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, the Queen Vessel was definitely.
So if I had shot the Queen Vessel instead, at the time that we ended the game, I would have been ahead on points actually.
Yeah.
But then you would
That
have
was
had to
dumb.
run into my cloaked mines because I would have retreated and regenerated.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if we want to talk,
Hypotheticals.
if we want to talk about what ifs, there is one thing we absolutely have to talk about, which is there's a point where everybody's in range of each other. Will has 2 spheres in range. You have a Scout Cube and the Diamond in range. We're all shooting at each other, and right before Will's about to shoot, his sphere with I want to say
I don't even remember which one it was.
Masset takes a hit and a crit. You go to your damage deck, you get injured captain, but you figure out you're using a personal damage deck that you use for pretty pictures, basically.
Mhm.
So you go to your backup damage deck, which is what you're using for this tournament, because it's an official WizKid component. You shuffle it up, Peter cuts, you do the damage, you flip it, and it's stunned Helmsman. You don't get that second attack.
Yeah, that was big.
That would have made a difference.
That's a huge difference between injured captain and stunned helmsman, especially because, as we've said, that diamond only had two hull on it left at the end of the game, whereas you could have. I mean, was that a big turning point for you? Was that a morale blow or?
I don't know. I was just sorry after he got the science vessel. I was kind of like, oh, that was kind of cool. And I was kind of enchanted by the rest of his flying for the rest of the day. I was like, this is how it feels like to have someone else actually fly around circles around you. It's like, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and I hate it at the same time. I hate myself.
It's like, where have I seen this before? But no, the thing that hurt more was that in proper karmic fashion, I hit him back later with 2 of them.
Yeah, I got
That's
2
true.
in a row.
He got 2 stunned helmsmen on the same attack, and it was ruled.
It was ruled that both of them would go away. It's not that you had to give up an attack per each one.
God, imagine if that was the ruling. That would just be it.
Because the problem is
Every other warp core breach.
every other crit works that way.
Well,
If you get an auxiliary power token twice, you get 2 auxiliary power tokens.
That's
If
true.
you get a warp core breach twice, you have to roll twice during the
but if
combat
you
phase.
ding your captain twice,
Yeah, no.
2 injured captains. It's still
200 captains doesn't matter as much because that's
captain's
it.
injured.
But if two reduced attack, 2 reduced defense.
2 reduced agility to a minimum of 0.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the argument. The argument the judge made was that they would both be triggered. They're triggered text.
Triggered on your next attack.
on your next attack.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not that the attack doesn't happen, it's that you roll 0 dice, which makes it interesting. If fighters could get crits, I think that would actually mean that the named Fed fighters would still deal damage to a ship with hull damage.
Oh god, don't even touch fighters.
Yeah,
Like, they're not even ships apparently, but everything affects them.
Yeah,
Ships
let's
are
not
ships.
talk about that. Hey, something else we can talk about. Well, none of you guys played Fed Fighters, huh? I mean, I thought I saw. Will, you played Fed Fighters once, right?
They don't have Gallers. That's the problem.
They don't have Gallers. Yeah, Gallers.
Gallers are amazing.
Gallers seem to. I fully retract. Unlike what I said about the Scimitar, I fully retract my criticism of Galler class phaser banks. They have been amazing in this tournament thus far.
Range 3 is nice. Yeah.
Now that people are playing more with the range 2, range 3 discrepancy, getting rid of that discrepancy is a big deal.
It's worth seven points.
7.
And no matter how low the pip, I mean that's the main thing. But no matter how low the pips go with that +1, it's always a threat, right? Like they never get below 4 attack dice, right? Which is never not relevant.
It's the range 1 shot. Like when you get to range 1 with the fighter and you're at enough pips that you're normally doing 6, then you disable the Gallers and you're at range 1. Now you're hitting for 8. Like, I'm sorry. What other ship hits for 8 that costs 31 points?
Well, when we talked about that today, that's going to affect tomorrow a lot, I think.
That's okay.
When we had that, that's fine.
Let's. I mean, at this
that brings
point,
back the name sphere. That's why I'm happy with that.
Let's go ahead and talk about tomorrow. I mean, what are we thinking we're going to see? What builds are going to be good?
That's a good question.
High captaincy and extra maneuvers, or just maneuverable ships are going to be.
So you would think Gul Madrid should be in every build then?
Yeah.
Gul Madrid is going to be potentially devastating, which Gul Madrid makes me miss Transwarp Signal, as I was saying.
Oh my god!
Then he didn't matter.
Ever.
Then he didn't matter.
Yeah.
But now he's a nightmare. I think you.
Oh, you're talking about Gul Madrid as a captain.
Well,
no,
about
as
just
an
his
admiral.
ability.
Oh well.
Because anyone can do the fleet action. You can't
Yeah,
stop it
but
all.
I
get
have
what
two
you're saying.
transwarps. But anyway, I
Well,
think
like
people.
Ox builds.
I think there'll be some dual fighter builds. Like when Roger heard about that disabling the Gallers, he got really excited and quickly left. You know,
I have many things to plan.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm quite happy to fight double Keldon, double fighter. Anything that can't possibly turn around is something that I'm willing to fight.
On that note, what do you think there's going to be more, Scimitars or Borg?
I don't think there will be a lot of Borg. I mean, I think that the three of us here are going to field a lot of Borg,
That's probably true.
right? But I don't think other than that.
bioships.
Well, they're Borg.
Okay.
I know. They count as Borg in my head. They fire like Borg. They regenerate like Borg. And for the purposes of this, with the maneuverability, they basically are the same type of thing.
That was as much surprising to me as anything, is that the build that took first place on Thursday, I didn't see a single other bioship day 1 or day 2.
There have been no other bioships.
And
You abandoned them, and it's all your fault.
Well,
If
you
I-
had to test out the
if I-
Scimitar. Come on.
And I want to practice flying the Scout.
Yeah.
But if the bioships did as well today as they did yesterday, I couldn't play them tomorrow because I couldn't go anywhere near a bioship tomorrow, right? Like I couldn't even.
Well,
pair
there
one
is a
with
lot of
something.
problems with the bioships. You made it look easier than it is because they only have 90-degree forward, and that's something scary to consider when you don't have crew.
That's true. I mean, and I guess that mattered a lot just because everybody yesterday was flying Scimitars, which of course also only have a 90-degree forward, so it was almost like fair.
Well, when these two fought, I mean, your fleet was designed to be able to super maneuver, right? Minus, of course, Khan being able to go last.
Yeah, and that was the biggest problem.
Well, that
Also,
the,
the roll off for initiative at the very beginning.
Well, you mean
No,
the whole
that
game.
didn't matter.
That's the whole
that-
game.
yeah,
though,
the-
the initiative roll.
the bioships are good not because the ship, but it's the faction order, right?
Yeah, that
Because
was actually the
Khan
case.
on a bioship will always move last, which is unless what are the options? Kazon, Vulcan, and
Mirror
Universe.
Universe is kind of a big
So-
one. we've seen.
Well, if they want
Independent.
if they
What
want a
Mirror
Regent's
Universe ship?
flagship to
Yeah.
go after me, fine.
Yeah,
My
there's
bioships are gonna
that
rip
guy.
apart.
Rich ran he ran Mirror Universe, Assimilated Burrell, Hidekis. Is that right?
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting some use out of Mirror Admiral Worf again.
Yeah, it
And there
did
was a
work out well
transwarp
for him.
signal actually on that.
There was, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's just-
really?
Yeah, it was just really funny to watch him play against Will because Will one-shotted the Burrell with Magnametrics because it was cloaked.
that's pretty
Burrell.
much how it works. Every time someone cloaks and you have mag charges, you're just sitting there going, oh, okay, well, almost in range.
I think Magnometric is so good that, or we have in our meta anyway, that we would sometimes in builds pick it over Borg Missile before Borg Missile got nerfed. Not all the time, because that's crazy. But like that's how good it is. Like that sometimes you're like, oh man, mags are just better in this.
Pretty sure he's on your side with this.
I mean, I am probably one of the biggest Borg missile lovers out there. Pre-nerf, thanks, Worf.
Yeah.
But they needed to change that one. That one was ridiculous.
I mean, so we could probably talk for another hour about this, but
Borg Missile would literally be the only thing we were playing against today.
That's a good point.
It's just at the time I feel that it was necessary to limit what a dreadnought could do. Obviously, that's no longer a concern. There are still dreadnoughts, but they're so incredibly tricky to put together.
It's not fair to put 2 Oxes on 1 attack on a ship. If
They
you want
would
to do
put 4 Oxes.
well, but just pretend it's only 2 because you're rolling an average dice roll.
So
Well, you
see,
can modify
my counter argument to that is how many mirror tractor beams did we see today? None.
Well, that's because it's a horrible card. Brunt is a good card.
Brunt is a good card.
Even on Brunt is a good card. Even on one of the big Borg ships, because you're destroying shields too, you're only sacrificing 2 attack dice.
Yeah.
That's such a small sacrifice to get up to 4 Oxes, right?
Sure, but well, in this day and age, post Borg nerf, let me just throw this out there, that doesn't let you get to range 3.
True. That's certainly a difference, and that's why Magnetometric was a big advantage to it. Yeah.
So I mean, I just missed that card. I love that card. Anybody who plays me in Colorado will remember my build was literally 2 spheres, 2 tactical drones, and Borg missile on one of them. So I'm a little biased here. But anyway, so spitballing builds. Let me throw something at you guys. Just what I'm thinking. What if?
Let's make the best build right now.
What if you took Will's build from day 1, except instead of the diamond, you ran Peter's Scout Cube from day 2.
Instead of the diamond?
The sphere.
The sphere, whatever.
Then he ran, pardon me.
So you have
Wait, what's the Hull 4 ship?
Yeah.
You need a Hull 4 ship to do it.
The Hull 4 ship is the...
You don't have one.
Oh, you don't have one, do you?
That's why you don't have the combination of those 2 builds.
Okay.
You can exchange the support ship
Yeah.
for the 608, but then you don't have Martok and all. And Martok is fantastic.
Martok is.
I was actually kind of playing around with that in one of my late night insane ramblings of, oh my god, I need to do a build. But the next best thing somehow ended up being the Mirror Universe Enterprise.
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot too.
Or the
'cause
Mirror
it's a
Universe
Hull 4,
Constellation.
hits for 5 if you
Uh-huh.
stack it with Type A phasers.
Yeah.
But you know what it also does? It doesn't dodge anything.
No,
it
it
just
doesn't.
pop.
Yeah, it's 6 durability. And
Yeah, compared to the 15 of the Octodad.
I was gonna say that it can take the. It's one of the only things that can take the 4-point Mirror Universe
enhanced
cloaking device.
Oh, cloaking device.
Yeah, because then I can still do some sensor echo shenanigans to try to keep out of arc.
I mean, I suppose that's true, but
Doesn't it disable?
It disables, but if I never shoot with it,
Oh yeah, okay. Hey, would the hull plating work with that?
hull plating doesn't work when you're cloaked though.
Oh, okay. So
Unfortunately.
no. Yeah, that would be awesome.
that would be a little too good.
But on the other hand, you could also fit a Tantalus field on there if you want to be really ambitious.
Hey, that Tantalus field is pretty awesome. It doesn't.
That's the only reason I found for a Tantalus field. But
That's
hey,
range 1 though.
Yeah, well, when you double move in a turn, range 1.
and you move last or
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, and of course you kill their captain, and then you attack first.
That's true. I mean, so if not
that's a
that-
ruling that's been really weird today too.
Oh, what was that?
The one where that if you kill a captain, their skill remains until the end of the phase.
Oh yeah, that one.
No, that
Yeah,
makes,
we've been arguing about that. I mean, I knew that, but
but you have to do that. If not, like you could actually like skip someone's whole.
No,
turn.
because the way it was ruled previously was every time you activate, it's not you go to the next number, it's you activate the lowest number that has not yet been activated, or the highest in the case of shooting.
right.
So,
okay.
so in other words, if I shoot,
That's literally how it's worded in the rule book.
so
Hey, how it's worded has nothing to do.
That's
with how
absolutely
Yeah,
correct.
if we know anything.
Yeah.
Words.
Yeah, English. Do you speak it? So, insert Samuel L. Jackson gif here.
It would be nice if you could lower the fighter's skills to push them back in the combat.
But
That would be one small chink in their armor.
Yeah.
Being so good.
What, you mean
right?
captaincy 7 at 24 points is a little outrageous for
Yeah.
firing 6 and
Yeah,
surviving 5 hits?
actually, when you get down to it, that means that according to the way that captain skill is done, I think that makes fighters.
4 points of captaincy.
Yeah, it's so fighters have 6 attack for 20 points. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Well, and the generics have a 6 point or a 6 skill captain, right? Still, like it's not,
Yeah,
like-
it's.
It's a sacrifice.
No, absolutely. The named are way better, but I mean, what do you get? What a 6 attack dice cost you at 20 points?
Oh, hey, wait. No. But think about this, right? So the generic Hidekis, they start with a 6, right? And they have 6 captain skills, so that's 4 points.
Right.
So you go to 16.
Yeah,
And
16
or
points.
sorry, it's the generic Fed fighters. No, because I'm trying to make it work with the point cost
Well, you can-
formula. and you're
You can
almost
actually
there.
get the Dominion named at 29 points to captaincy 8 because they can use the Fed upgrade to do it, and that also then lets them use actions of captains, which at some point is they're gonna come out with a captain, and you're just gonna be able to abuse that to no end. Right?
Yeah, because
actually-
you want to run fighters anyway.
That
right?
seems like it could replace Martok on the scout vessel.
It doesn't do it yet
Or
because
not
you
the-
then have to
the-
also field the queen, who then can take an action and give it to another person, so you can actually hop. But the queen sucks, so you need someone better.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, what would you rather have in range of your fleet, a Romulan scout vessel or fighters?
Well, yeah, that's a fighters.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was a rhetorical question, Peter.
I want the fighters to be
And
close
yeah.
to
Well, I know you,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you would rather have the scout vessel. I mean, that's when I got blown up turn
Well,
through.
The national build had a RSV in it too, right? I mean, it's
RSV
a versatile ship.
RSV is a great ship.
I am excited about that Bajoran light ship because I believe foolishly that it's gonna have 0 attack, 1 hull, 0 evades, and 0 shield.
It's not going to be a 2-point ship.
and two crew slots in attack.
They are
And
not-
that'll be-
That's
They
all
are
you need.
not
That's all you
making a
That-
2-point
That's
ship.
what we need.
Or just
One-
another shuttle
One
that
of-
doesn't count as a
one
shuttle.
evades. Well, the escape pod is a one. is
No,
a-
what he's saying
12
is he wants a ship that's cheaper than 12 points, which
Yes.
is I mean, the thing is though,
No, I think he's saying he wants to run 50 light ships.
with Dinatra. Jam them into range one. Jam them into range one.
I am gonna roll, and variance will happen.
Oh my
You only
God,
get one
you
attack
can
phase either.
You can officer exchange program for Terrell.
yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's right. All the one captains in the game.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Okay, I'm sorry. In all seriousness, I think one other thing that's definitely been proved today is I have said on the show in the past that the cheapest ship is always going to see a ton of play just because it's the cheapest ship, and I hold to that. But I will emphasize, even if we get another ship that's cheaper, we will probably keep seeing the RSV unless the new ship can sensor echo.
That's true. That is
Or
one of its
dog.
handiest tools.
Or dog.
Yeah.
Or dock and not
Or-
count as not need a what is it, a capital ship?
Well, that's a different.
Yeah.
That's a different.
That's a different thing.
But, and 12 points is still a lot because fighters make it so much worse, right? Because you can't. I mean, if you really take special pains, you can run it around 30 points, but
Mhm.
it's terrifying to run it over 20 points because that dies, and then that's your last 20 points against the shuttle. Not against the shuttle, against fighters, right?
yeah.
Like,
Was that
that's
our build in
terrifying.
Ottawa? Something that was underneath 24
Yeah,
points?
it was 19.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
we were-
right. That's
'cause-
right.
'cause
Because we just
the
accepted it would
fighters.
die, but
Yeah.
but it didn't matter.
Right, because then we just had to get one thing.
Which is why when I do my Fed knot designs, I really when I do the one ship Fed knot with the shuttle and then the suicide ship, I really try hard to keep the suicide ship under 20.
Yes,
Mhm.
and then yeah, exactly.
I'm not a fan of giving up points.
Neither am I. It's just
He's got a dream.
putting everything on one ship and then conceding 19 is a lot better than having a RSV or something out there and then losing it.
I think the problem is that especially from what we've been seeing from the qualifiers, is that if you expect to not have anything killed, that's a problem.
Yeah.
We're going 0-0 to a roll-off.
Yeah.
Theater.
It's not.
Yeah.
Well,
You have to
I'm gonna
expect
throw it
it.
out there that
Reveal-
Vox should
Yeah.
work on the roll-off. Okay, and I want that to work.
Listen.
I want that to be the new thing that everyone plays.
I understand that you think the initiative roll-off is the most important part of the game because you have won games by rolling dice. But please understand that not everybody wins games just by rolling dice.
You're shooting a little bit off camera that way. I just want to make sure everyone still keeps seeing your lovely face.
My face is. I forgot all of my So I have toothpaste and deodorant, and I forgot all of my facial hair and personal care stuff. So I've in this humidity, it's great. Yeah.
Well, this is your broadcast debut, right? Because you're never on. Oh no, you're doing.
I
videos
did.
on Twitter
Well,
and stuff.
so it turns out, if anybody at home is watching this and wondering why there aren't more YouTube videos, it turns out that with the exception of the final match today, YouTube videotaping any of these matches would have just been outrageously boring for most viewers because, frankly, the maneuvering was fairly interesting, except everybody was taking about 10 minutes to do it. Or in the case of Peter's game 2 yesterday, spent about 30 minutes arguing about rules.
Yeah. Well, we just sat there and waited. No, that was the funnest game. We just sat there laughing the whole time about the ridiculousness of it.
So the funnest game was when you didn't actually play the game.
Well, you
Wow.
love that build. You love that
Sure.
maneuver.
We're not saying that about Star Trek.
I mean, I gotta say, I'm having a ton of fun doing coverage for you guys. So, but I mean, I will videotape the finals tomorrow, no matter how boring they are.
And after what a stirring endorsement.
Yeah, I mean, the finals
What's Peter gonna do? He
today.
flies his ship off the
The
board.
finals today, I am super happy I did the play-by-play on Twitter and Facebook of because that was actually. I mean, I can't even begin to say how fascinating a game that was to watch. I mean, Will actually apologized to me because he's like, "Oh, you must be so bored." And I'm like, "No, I am on the edge of my seat here watching this maneuvering game." It was. If you don't believe that maneuvering is a thing in a tag game anymore, you should have been there for these finals. I mean, it was really something.
Well, I think we know tomorrow you're gonna be playing with more maneuvering. Gotta have more of that cowbell.
I have a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell.
Shh, we don't want to get this copyrighted and taken off the air.
Fair use, affectionate parody, obviously.
Obviously.
God, Will, you can't just ask somebody why they're not getting taken off the air.
I'm glad we're still in the air.
Yeah, alright, so I think we're coming up on pretty close to our hour and a half mark here, so got about 15 minutes left. So any last remarks, any
What are
last
the
thoughts?
thoughts for tomorrow in terms of builds?
Maneuvering.
Well, no, not what we're gonna play. I mean, what everyone else
actually,
is gonna
yeah.
be playing.
If we have we have a little time. I mean, we've talked about what builds we're thinking. What do you think you're gonna see?
Dragons.
Magic.
Oh, wait.
No.
No one would see it coming.
Yeah, they wouldn't see that coming. I think that there will be the Voyager Dreadnoughts, and
Someone
I
will
think
get
there will be the
confused
Scimitars.
about the dates and the times, and they'll bring their dragon stuff to Star Trek.
And the judges will allow it.
Well, they'll
The
check the the wharf site
The-
to make sure.
Do breath weapons penetrate shields? That's
Well,
That's
I'm
the
still
ruling.
held on dragons breathing in space, but magic, right?
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah, magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing we get the X-Men coming in from that one comic book that we had.
What?
X-Men and Star Trek.
Oh yeah, dude, they wrote a book about that. There was a novelization too. It was fantastic. There's this part where I don't know if this was in the comic, but there's this part where Picard goes to the holodeck to speak to a holodeck recreation of Professor X, and they're like, "Wow, they really do look alike." And for this part, this book was written in the 80s. So
Nice.
it's
Well, okay, so for tomorrow, this is what I was thinking. I didn't see anyone playing with gankers, so all the stuff that can just rip things out of ships, and I think that means that everyone was just holding them, and then most of the fleets are going to kind of turn around, because when you're playing builds, when most people are playing these builds that have tons of interfaces, tons of high captains, tons of action-oriented stuff, the most easy counter is just to come with stuff that just steals it, takes it, or gives tons of Ox tokens. So I kind of assume that that's kind of going to be the flip.
I don't know if I'd say they're holding them. but they might have learned today that they're good.
Actually, my biggest surprise over the weekend is, were there any Hood Rikers?
I saw one.
Yeah, I know. For such an awesome card, like he never makes the cut.
And it's funny because we were desperate to get the OPs in before Worlds because we're like, oh,
We're gonna need
he's
that
gonna be a
for-
staple,
yeah.
right? And then very early on, he was.
No, he doesn't.
We-
He doesn't cut.
We remember, even with the conversions, the 1-1 is okay. The 2-2 is really good, but then you have no captain.
And it's the variance, right? If you're
Yeah.
rolling 6 attack dice, but one of those times, like on day 1, Charles Scrobus had a really big built-up Voyager, right? And I was not concerned because I knew my bioships were going to hammer through that because I tested against Peter and he had hammered through it, right? Because one bad defense roll, you lose most of your shields, then you just knock off the last 1 or 2, then cloaked mines are terrifying because your multi-adaptives are gone
And then,
and it's over, right?
as every single Romulan player will tell you, or will, it is extremely easy to whiff a high defense die roll.
Yes.
I do have one question for you regarding your build with the bioships. Is the scimitar that different that if you did the exact same build with scimitars instead of bioships, it would change
I've
it
been
that
wondering
much?
too, honestly.
Scimitars.
Because they have pretty similar maneuver dials, except for the scimitar can go faster. Their stat lines are about identical, and they're the only difference is like they don't get regenerate.
No, the Borg. Sorry, the species ship has a hard 2.
Yeah.
That's a huge
which is
difference.
That is a huge difference.
Hard 2 versus hard 3,
Actually, today,
Wow.
I don't-
and they're 2 points cheaper.
you guys would not have seen this. Daniel
Oh,
Donat,
really? That is right.
Daniel Datola lost a scimitar by flying off the board because he only had the hard 3.
Well,
he
yeah.
had to take the risk that it would be short enough to keep him on the board because he did not have space for the come about. So he had to make the hard. The banks weren't going to do it. Obviously, he
Yeah.
didn't have it backwards. He had to make the hard turn, and it got about 3/4 of a centimeter off the board.
Right.
And that hard 2 would have been all the difference right there.
I'd say that's a thing, but considering we're using the independent fleet captain in Forest, just in that build specifically, not in every build you would have bioships in, but
There are, and the scimitar has crew slots, which is nice too, right?
Mhm.
Because crew
no penalty on cloak mines.
are great. Yeah, no penalty on cloak mines, which you have to have in there. Plenty of tech slots, and you're probably going to be running interfaces too, right?
So-
So it'd be a little different.
So you basically run like Riemann Warp. You don't even run the scimitar because you're not going to cloak,
Mhm.
and you just. I guess the only thing that I would be nervous about is its hull is a lot higher versus shields, and that means more space for crits.
Yeah, and then the most definitive thing is the bioships. The main reason that I picked them was I knew when I put Khan on there, that ship would be moving last, other than those
That's true.
Oh,
minor
gosh,
factions,
yeah,
right?
that's a
So
big
that makes a big,
conditioning
big
word.
difference.
I don't like any ship that only has one maneuver to turn, because then it's a telegraph. Like they have to turn. They're either doing a soft 1 or they're doing a hard 3. There's only 2 options available, and all you got to do is just go in the other direction. And you're fine.
That's true. Yeah, it is a lot more predictable in that way.
But man, it's so nice when people don't predict you're doing a 6 forward and all of a sudden, wait, you can shoot me?
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
that's
yeah, but come on, 6 forward.
six forward, and then with Terrace for the 360. Oh, that's great. I thought it's not great.
No, it's
No.
not. I found that out yesterday. It's not great. I told you that like for the last couple of weeks, and then
Yeah.
finally you convinced me to play it, and then I found out the same thing.
Gotcha. So experience. So I will bow to that experience and I'll accept that.
Yeah. I mean.
No, try it tomorrow.
She just
I
needs.
should.
Yeah, it's
She
not
just-
so bad.
I'm gonna run 3 scimitars.
She just needs a higher.
Please
Can
don't
you
do
fit
that.
it? No.
No, you can't, because you discard the people that give you the captain bonus.
Right. The
But scorpion fighters have
Oh.
to go with the scimitar.
well, they're excited. I guess they
Hey.
have to be pretty good to be better than the ones that are.
If they're fighters already, they're better than most ships in the
Yeah.
game.
No, but like to really shake things up, how different can they be from the
I don't know.
Dominion and Fed fighters?
Some other ridiculous
I-
ability for a ship would be nice.
Really don't even remember what the Scorpions did in
They didn't
Nemesis.
do it.
Data and Picard.
No, I
program
like
and
they were. I understand that they were in a scorpion and they flew a scorpion and the scorpion shot things, and I literally don't remember any other ability it had. Like, it just flew and shot
Could
things,
they
right?
close?
It was from the future.
I don't know if they can close. It was not from the what?
Our future.
Were they even
Thanks.
Oh no.
Yeah,
But anyway, back on
maybe
this
they
world.
can cloak. Oh my
Back
God,
on
that
this
would
world
be
instead
good.
of next world.
Cloaked fighters? No, you want to see people rage quitting in droves? Cloaked fighters. There you go.
Yeah, 'cause the hulls.
You've got
that's
you've got
terrible.
Hidekis with 4 more agility.
You could, I mean, and then you could sensor echo the fighters. That would be scary.
I just can't believe that people aren't playing with the name Fed Fighter. I really like that name Fed Fighter ability.
I did see that, and I mean, it can shoot through planets, which I think is great.
What?
So this is a thing that not everybody knows. This is super secret tech. In the rulebook, it
That we
doesn't say
talked
you
about on
can't.
State of the Federation
Right.
before.
Yeah. Well, not everybody.
Oh,
Shut
right.
up. Anyway, so
They're totally not watching this
rulebook,
now.
in the rulebook, this is great. It doesn't say that you can't attack through a planet. It says it reduces your attack dice to 0.
Oh, okay.
So this actually, I just realized you could get rid of a stunned helmsman by shooting through a planet. Because you'd be attacking. It would just reduce it to 0 again.
I will use that
That's
potentially
significant.
tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's a major tactical revelation. I expect that to cause about 3 coronaries among.
Well, that's a solid
the-
10 minutes of just time wasting because obviously rules are going to be. The whistle will be blown.
I'll have
Oh,
that.
I don't even talk about that. I'm talking about the people at home that are like, "Oh my God, you're explaining the rules," and they
What-
sound exactly
Oh, no.
like that in my head. For those on the
Which one thing we did want to mention is Ben, and what's the name of the other judge?
Rich.
Richard?
Rich.
Rich?
The winner
Oh, they're
of
pretty nice about
Yeah.
looking through the rules.
They're really enthusiastic, really nice.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
And what a hard job.
Oh,
I walked like 3 feet over to Rich to get him to come over, and he was apologizing to me,
And-
and he shouldn't have known and come to me. Right? So,
and Vincent, by the way, is the 3rd judge. I don't want to name 2 of them and forget the 3rd.
Right? Yeah. True.
Though they have been kind of stingy about letting me like inside the area.
look,
They
that
do care-
that
they
line
do
of
seem to
tape
care
they
a
put
lot.
down.
They put down a line of tape just for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, right? When I
that
saw
was-
them putting that down, I was like, what the heck is going on?
Oh my
To
God,
be
there's so
honest,
many people everywhere.
Yeah.
Your grunts of displeasure every time I did something somewhat questionable. We're getting distracting.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was that bad. I apologize.
And then half the time you realized, oh, I was actually wrong.
That's
we,
what
we,
you're
didn't actually cloak that, and
no,
yeah,
yes,
that
he
was a
did.
good-
He, dude, your opponent totally target locked a cloak ship, and you totally let it slide.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I remember telling him no on the only time I remember it. But
No, because what happened is the next turn you were like, because the target lock token got moved, and you're like, oh, which ship was target locked? And you were like, well, it must have been the Sphere because that's the only ship you could have target locked. And I'm like, no, he target locked your cloak ship, and you just didn't say anything. But it wound up on the right ship, so it didn't end up mattering. But you totally let him do it.
Mm.
Grunt justified. I'm from Los Angeles. I get to do that.
Well, the coverage is only good, right? Like, there's no downside to it, right? Like, it only makes the game better and more accessible, and it, for whatever small interest it has. For
I'm not
people.
paying you. Regardless of what you say, I'm not paying
Oh.
you. But
and it showcases the entire godly strength of Canadians.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
We're-
that's
we're-
that's
This
we're
is why
running
this-
down.
we're doing well.
We are running down. Two
Canada,
victories.
Canada is certainly representing here. Actually, that is
we've
true.
taken both by storm.
For what's your Chris Dove? I'm sure you're excited about this.
That's
Yes,
gonna be that.
yes, call out to Chris.
That's gonna be
Hello, Chris.
I hope Terry sees this too. So
Yeah, actually, yeah. But no, I mean, watching the comments on the coverage, it seems that Team Canada. Team Canada is really drawing the hometown crowd.
It's because of Chris and Logan
Well,
supported.
yeah,
me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chris is a passionate guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little weird. I'm kidding.
You'll
All
find it.
right.
You'll find it.
Anything else? Anything else we want to cover, or
what are you guys running at Worlds tomorrow?
Oh,
I guess you'll have to see and find out.
all right?
Suspense.
So, I do have some Attack Wing news. I think this may be a surprise to you guys as well.
Oh no.
I talked. This is a good thing. I talked to Kyle. Hold on, I have it written down. I forget his last name. I'm so sorry, Kyle, if you're watching this. I talked to Kyle Payne, who is one of the back-end production managers for Star Trek Attack Wing, and here is your prize lineup for the Temporal Cold War.
Wow.
For OP1, it is the Xindi Aquatic ship. OP2 is Xindi Reptilian. OP3 is Xindi Insectoid. And the grand prize ship is the Xindi Weapon. The Death Star thing.
Well,
So are they independent or their own faction?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is that we do have Xindi ships coming up. That's going to excite some folks. The grand prize is going to be the Death Star. That's pretty awesome, I happen to think.
Death Star,
Mm-hmm.
big cat cube. We don't know.
I don't know. I don't have any information, but let the
Could it
speculation
beat the Death Star in a
commence.
fight?
Yeah. Damn it, I need to know.
Probably not based on its abilities in the show. It does hit Earth. It hits Florida, actually.
Spoiler alert.
These are what you checked out after Next Generation. You've never seen Enterprise, right? Have
No,
you seen Enterprise?
Will has not seen Enterprise.
Yeah, none of us have. I haven't seen it.
You've never seen
I think I
Enterprise?
saw
Just
it.
you.
I just.
I've seen
Um,
bits and
very
pieces.
good.
but-
I'll say this. It has some really great episodes in it, but in general, you're not really missing out. With that said, these indie ships are actually pretty cool.
Name of the ship sound really cool.
Yeah.
They're,
That does sound cool.
I'll show you some photo. At least one of them is a huge dedicated carrier ship. That's the aquatic ship, so that might be interesting.
People
Um,
have been talking about it forever. On
People have been
Facebook.
talking about it
Like, they
forever,
want,
so
like-
I am excited to let everybody know that that's what's up. But I think that's probably about it for today. So we got to go get some sleep. Nobody's
The
been
last-
sleeping.
The last hurrah.
Are you kidding? I still have to figure out what I'm actually playing tomorrow.
Well,
I did
actually-
not tell them because I knew what
Yeah,
it was.
I don't know what
I know. It's just the last couple of days, everything started at 10 o'clock, so we've been waking up at 8. It's terrible. But tomorrow
Like normal
we get
people
to
in society.
sleep in. Oh my god. Okay, so with all that said, thanks for watching, and may Q be generous with your dice.
Not yours. All right.